All right, so being able to draw the human figure obviously is very important if you want to go into the comic business. But they say what's most important, what they want most of all, is somebody that knows how to storyboard. So you need to learn how to storyboard and maybe even take a class on storyboarding for like movies and stuff. And read a lot of comics and look how they storyboard. Being able to tell a story with pictures. And this is what they say. This is what Marvel says. This is what all the big comics people say. They say that the panel, the comic, the pictures themselves should tell the story. Someone should be able to flip through the comic without reading a word and get a good idea what the story is about. But more important than that is storyboarding. Is when telling the story is to tell it dynamically, to tell it in such a way that it looks really good and it's not boring. So knowing how to draw the body and knowing basic anatomy and all that is important, and being able to gesture draw, be able to think of a person and be able to think like how you want him to be looking, and be able to do that from your mind. uh, is important, obviously. So let's say he's going to be shooting a gun or pointing at somebody anyway. So being able to do down quick gestures and then get all the anatomy right and draw people from different angles is important, but also perspective is important. How to put that person in a scene, like in the horizon. Usually the horizon line will be about at his waist, but if the horizon line's down here by his knees, then every other person that you draw in the background, let's say this person way out here in the background, it also has to be at that person's knees when he's way in the background. So if he's the same height as this guy, the horizon line will meet at the same point of every person no matter where they're at. So if there's another person that's closer, no matter where they are, the horizon line has to be at the same place on that person. And now if they're shorter, let's say there's a little kid and he's right here, then it's at his waist. If there's another person his height, it would also be at his waist. So that's really important. Okay, so perspective is obviously important. So the things you want to practice is perspective. Practice perspective a lot. And backgrounds, being able to draw the things besides people, being able to draw buildings and everything in perspective, have a single point perspective, and being able to, draw the buildings how they would look. Anyway, so all this is important. But more importantly, of course, is storyboarding, being able to tell the story. Let me see here, I'm running out of paper. Actually, I got to get more. Just a second. Okay, so storyboarding, very important. And so practice all your gestures, your different positions of the body and anatomy, and be able to do all that's very good. But you're going to want to know your perspective and backgrounds and all that, and then storyboarding. So let's say you had a panel here, and you had your people in this in here, and this is right out of Marvel, How to Do It the Marvel Way, which I recommend reading. And then there's another person back here, and then this person's like, oh. Okay, so you have these three people here in the panel. That works, and Marvel says, yeah, sure, that works, but the dynamic way, the way that Marvel does it, for it, stands out and looks different. Let's take the same panel, same three people, but here's how they're going to do it like this. So let's say his head's here, and his shoulders back there, and his next shoulder's here. And then this person will be off over there. And then this person will be in the background, like so. So this is much more dynamic. It has more emotion and feeling to it and movement than that does. So storyboarding is really important. It's what comics want to be able to see that you're able to do, is tell a story. But it's not just being able to set up single panels and make them all good, but being able to tell a story, with the panels. So practice telling stories. So after you got your anatomy down and you're able to draw the person from different point of views really fast, and you're starting to get your backgrounds and perspective and all that, and you're able to make a scene that makes sense, and all the perspective and everything's correct, then start storyboarding. Fill a piece of paper up of panels and read comic books and see how storyboarding is done, and get good at telling stories. Make up your own stories. Pick up other people, ask other people to write stories or whatever that are already good at writing, and tell that story in about 6 panels, and keep practicing, or tell it with a few different panels. So anyway, this is what the comics are looking for. So you got to be able to draw backgrounds. That's really important too. See if there's anything else I wanted to cover. I think that was it. So I really wasn't drawing anything really this time, just mainly going through what they're looking for. So all right,